Alrighty, y'all, so it's time to get to this Honda, the only Honda I got in the Walmart customer return pile this year. That's because I bought the pallet. It didn't come on the pallet that I by sight unseen, so to speak. Like I said, it's just kind of luck of the draw sometimes, and I drew just fine this year, but just in terms of the Honda engines and self-propelled stuff, I didn't really have any. This is the only one. If I get it going, it's sold. And if you watched my Mower rejects video, which I will post a link to that video in the bottom of this, I'm going to give you all a little flashback as to what it looked like when I got off the trailer, and then we'll get to working on it. Alright, another interesting one for y'all here. This mower is sold if it runs. This mower is sold. Has a side discharge chute bag. Somebody's looking for one that I sold to somebody last year. The bag's over here, thankfully. Came with the bag, but inside it is the discharge chute, the owner's manual, and also the blades. So that kind of was like, uh-oh. And then under it was the blade key, and then as well as under it was, and this mower hasn't been used that much, thankfully, just some loose grass here, and I've backed it out already because I couldn't live with myself if I couldn't back it out tonight. But a sheared off bolt to hold on the blade. How about that? Apart from that, this mower looks great, which I'm very happy with because it's got the Honda motor on it. It's the only one that has the Honda motor on it this year. So, at least to my knowledge, I might find some more surprises when I keep looking. But, just happy about that. Hopefully that's just a replacement of the bolt for the shaft. Alright, so now that y'all have seen kind of the background of it, kind of suspect that they were trying to cut some really, really thick grass with it, and that's kind of what snapped the blade, just all the torque and whatnot from that Honda GCV 160, because there's grass stuck all up in here, stuck all up right there. And so next I'm going to take this cover off, which is just a 1/2 inch and a couple of a 5/16 inch bolts. So let me grab that real quick. Hopefully y'all won't go nowhere. There you go. A 1/2 inches down here. Just a short bolt. And the 2 5/16 are up top here. I'll show you. I've already started working on one of them. They're just hand tightened. So if you just take this, we might find 1 or 2 extra while we're going at it here. There we go. And number 2. There may be one on the other side, I'm not sure. But usually they don't have much holding these plastic covers in. So we'll see if that does it. If not, we'll keep looking. Oh no, that did it. So just beat that off. Like I said, I've got, if I mentioned already, I've got this mower sold pretty much as soon as I get this one done. Requests for somebody that bought one last year to get one similar for his one of his in-laws, and so we're just gonna get rid of all this excess grass and stuff that's caked around the self-propel mechanism. The mower does have compression, I have checked, so the engine is good. Like I said, I think they were just cutting stuff cutting the mess out of whatever field grass they were trying to cut, and just snapped the blade bolt on it. And we're just getting the grass out. I suspect this is going to be a short video, but it's just a problem I hadn't really ever seen before, so I'm just hoping that it's nothing in addition to what we're doing here. Okay, so that's that. So I'm going to get the belt and stuff's in good shape. I'm going to get the blade or the cover and stuff back on, and then we'll work on that a little bit more. Now we'll keep plugging away with this, and I'll actually get a blade on it. We'll test this thing out. So when I was working on taking everything off, I did not notice these items. I noticed them, I didn't look at them very hard, but this is very telling as to what likely happened. They must have hit something with it, because if you look, and I can salvage this blade adapter, I'm not worried about that, but the blade adapter is like all bent out, and you see where it's indented out like that. And so what happened was they hit it, and I'm trying to slide it into the blade key here, which I'm not really able to do. It's just turning on the shaft, as you can see, because I guess this is kind of like almost like a secondary key, flywheel key. Kind of helps protect the engine by just sacrificing the blade adapter, but I will be able to tap this back in to get it to where it will work in the keyway. I'm not really concerned about that. The blade, on the other hand, is good for the scrap pile. As you can see, it has been hit really hard right there on that side. That side looks okay, but you pop it up on here, I'll show y'all, and you can see how far that blade is down compared to the other side. So somebody hit something really hard with this. So I am going to get this on the bench, and I'm actually going to take a hammer and a screwdriver and tap this back in so that it gets into the keyway, and that should fix the issue there for the blade adapter. And then source me another blade from my blade stash and get this thing back on the road, hopefully. So I was wrong. This is not salvageable. Not the end of the world by any means. It's just difficult to source parts that are kind of new like this, but I've got the part number down there. I'm going by the 591344701 down there on the bottom. I don't know why 111903 did not show up. Might have to do a little bit of research, but I can get one for about $16. So for the time being, let me find a blade that will fit on it to just see if we can at least, we just need to know that it runs, and if it runs, then we'll get a blade adapter for it. So this is the larger shaft on this one. I found a temporary blade setup that I'm going to use. Can't remember if the smaller shafts are half and the larger shafts are 3/4, or if it's a 3/4 and a 1-inch diameter. I know one of y'all knows out there. I know probably all I gotta do is measure it, but I had the bigger shaft adapter and I had a blade that I can put on it, so it's on there secure. It's a little bit lower than the deck, and so I threw my safety glasses on just in case something weird happens. Hopefully my leg don't get cut off, but again, I'm not going to run it for long. I just want to make sure it runs. The oil's good. Pulling it has got compression, so I think that it'll start. Let's see. it is smoking just a hair, and so I'm going to allow it to hopefully burn the oil off in the muffler. Which you can see it's got a lot of oil in the muffler. I'm going to let that burn off first. And, well, first off, hopefully it's oil in the muffler, not smoke coming from the rings or something. And then I will ensure that, and then I'll go ahead and order the part for it. Alright, so good news. The new part came in that has a good blade key on it, or a key adapter. And so I went ahead and put it back on, routed the self-propel belt around this black pulley, around the drive pulley, found a new blade, put the blade on it, and the adapter. It's a universal blade, but it will do the job, and it's what I had here, so it'll work. So let's actually take this thing. That's the old blade. I didn't do any magic tricks there. There's plenty of oil in it because I checked it already. Grab my little thing here, grab and put y'all down, and we'll crank this thing up and see if it'll run for us. So it had been a few weeks since I ordered the part, got it, put it on, and turned this on. So it's not surprising that there was a little smoke that came out. Running a little bit better too, because the right size blade is on it and the right amount of, like, I guess, resistance, so to speak. Centrifugal force, all that good stuff. Actually turn it off and see if it'll start back up for us. That's perfect, because that other blade, it would only crank about every third time. Alrighty, y'all. Good push mower. Like I said, this mower is sold. Should get $220 out of it. I could have listed it for more, but you know, and you know people, you give them a little bit of a break on price. I'm glad that there was no other damage associated with this, so I appreciate y'all watching. More push mower and ride more content coming in the future.